Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to show 190 with yours truly, the hippie pastor. That would be me. I'm so glad to be back on the show. Okay, as you may have noticed from the title of this show, we'll get right into it. Here's another detour which is necessary to clarify, okay? All right. Lucifer, Satan, whatever you want to call him, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, I don't care, will be the ultimate fulfillment of the prodigal son of the parable that Jesus presented about the parable of the prodigal son, right? In Luke chapter 15, 11 through 32. Boy, the book of Luke is so beautiful with so many wonderful parables that are not in other gospels. The Gospel of Matthew is very original. The Gospel of John is extremely original. And the Gospel of Luke is very original. The Gospel of Mark is sort of like a short version of the Gospel of Matthew in a way. But there's a few little things, but mostly it's like a copy of Matthew, but in shorter words. Anyway, let's just get right into it. Before I begin with this reading of the story of the prodigal son, so you can see for yourself that Satan, Lucifer, is the true fulfillment, the ultimate fulfillment of the story of the prodigal son, believe it or not. And a lot of Christians, they don't want to hear that. They want to see the devil or Satan or Lucifer burn in hellfire forever, for 1,000 years, right? What a childish story, my friends. Downright ridiculous that the enemies of the truth intercepted in the Bible, in the New Testament, and even in the words of Jesus, this thing about gnashing of teeth and burning in hellfire for eternity. That is a ridiculous story, totally contrary to nature, totally contrary to the nature of God, the God of love that we know. Oh, he created us with love so we can burn in hell forever? Well, it's silly. It's outright silly. You know, they tried to scare people in those days into belonging to the church so they could pay their dues with fear, you know, of hell flames. There's even famous portraits, old ancient portraits of the flames forever, the souls burning in hell. There ain't going to be no hell. A lot of people say that, but in the Bible, this lie has been interjected in there. So the Bible contradicts itself, and the Bible is not the holy word of God. Parts of it are. You must discern. Use a little bit of that intelligence that supposedly God gave you, okay? Okay, so, well, that's basically it. And let us get on with the parable of the prodigal son, so you can see for yourself. And Satan, Lucifer, he was like the brother of Jesus. Lucifer was a light bearer, the brother of Jesus, you might say. And he carried the light. He had a very important position in heaven, according to the Old Testament. And then he was pride, right? His sin was pride, and he got cast out with all his followers. I guess he took quite a bit of following, from heaven, these black angels, these dark angels. No, I didn't mean black in a negative way. I mean, that's what they call them in the Bible. It says, in Spanish, the ángeles negros, black is supposed to be a negative thing, like you're in the blacklist. You're in my blacklist, But that's just the racism of traditional history of the human mankind, White is right, brown you're wrong, black get back, and yellow just be mellow. So we're not racist here. So anyway, that's the story, and so, but then it's, right, God is so wise and so ever so loving and encompassing that you think he's going to allow anybody to be punished for eternity in flames, not even Lucifer? Love is going to win. God is going to win. And the world shall be taken over by love. And all the creation that's called the reconciliation, universal reconciliation and cosmic restitution. Christians don't like to hear that because they're self-righteous and they want to condemn somebody just to hide their own sins, their own perfidy. Here goes Jesus with the parables of the prodigal son. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the father, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. Yes, we read the King James Version here. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father, but when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, and in thy sight, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. And bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. Jesus was not a vegetarian, I'll tell you that. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry. Universal restitution, cosmic, Now his eldest son was in the field. That's the Christians for you. His eldest son, they were faithful all their lives, and now they're jealous and envious, and because he forgave the sinner. Now his eldest son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. They dance in heaven. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry, and would not go in. Therefore came his father out, and entreated him. He was angry. Like the Christians, they will be angry when they see God forgive Lucifer, and receive him into his bosom, into his kingdom, and forgive him. And he answered, saying to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed. He's a little lily-white saint, right? I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, a little calf, that I make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast called for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad, for this thy brother was dead, and is alive again, and was lost, and is found. There you have it. That would be Luke chapter 15, verses 11 all the way to 32. God is a God of mercy, a God of love, and love shall triumph over hate, in life shall triumph over death, and forgiveness shall triumph over condemnation. God is love, and in the entire universe will come back having learned this great lesson of love. Even Satan, even Lucifer, there will be no more evil. There will all be love and forgiveness. That is my God, the God that I serve and the God that I worship. I hope you worship and serve the same God, not the God of the Christians, which is full of self-righteousness and lies about eternal fire. Okay? Having said that, I love you with the love that characterizes my personality. Thanks for listening.